Yo, what's good? It's your boy Big Bain in this thing. Hey, check this out before we jump into the awesomeness, right? Need y'all to check me out on all my social platforms. I'm pretty much on everything. Check me out on SoundCloud, Patreon, BeatStars, all the streaming services. My official website, forexwithbain.com. That's where you can join my Discord. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, all right? Let's get right into it. Keep trading. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Bain Break It Down Forex. It's your boy Big Bain in this thing. You guys guessed it, another week, another opportunity for us to make some money in the Forex market. So let's get right to it. All right, boom, over on the dollar, guys. So we are going to get the rise out of the dollar this week. All right, long time drop, consolidation, and slowly but surely creeping out of that, making uptrend structure, as you guys can see right here. But I do believe we're going to get a pullback if we hop down to the 15-minute time frame. You guys will see that we'll probably push down to this demand area here. Let's look at it from the 30-minute. All right, there it is. Get the push from here and then rise, but we could also get a little deeper, sweep liquidity, balance out this fair value, probably even get to this demand level before rising. So I do expect some sort of drop on the dollar before we get the rise. But I'm absolutely expecting the dollar to rise this week. So bullish on the dollar, all right? Over to our dollar, because I expect the dollar to fall a little bit, right? I do expect the odd dollar to rise a little bit and then fall. So I'm short on the odd dollar, 30 pip stop loss for 100 pip take profit, maybe more, but bearish on odd dollar. Euro dollar, all right? My team has been waiting on this all week, all right, for it to drop. But I do believe, again, because the dollar is going to do a pullback, Euro USD is going to do a pullback to this level of supply, and then it will drop. So I'll be getting away with the 30 pip stop loss for 526 pips to the next level of demand, bearish on the euro dollar. All right, pound dollar. It's giving us a nice rising channel. All right, we've gotten the breakout, and now when we get down to a lower time frame, what you guys will notice is we're creating that downtrend structure. Now here's a huge fair value gap next to this level of supply that has not been mitigated yet. Therefore, I'm expecting the pound dollar to rise up and get to this level before actually dropping. Now it might not get here, it might get here and then drop. Either way, I'm expecting some sort of push up first, and then I'll be looking for the drop on pound dollar, taking it all the way down to this level of demand, which is a previous high that we broke and price respected as support and then took off. So again, just a very nice move on pound dollar to the downside. I'm bearish 268 pips. All right, over to New Zealand dollar. All right, we sold this early and we're up 78 pips. It is creating equal lows right now at this demand level that you see here. So I'm assuming that it will rise, right, as the dollar falls for its pullback, and then we'll get the drop on New Zealand dollar. All right, so right here is just that level of demand that it is tapped into. All right, so you can get away with the long position up to the supply area, right, and then turn right back around and sell it for 1 to 12 risk to reward ratio, 15 pips, 491 pips to the downside, guys. New Zealand dollar has a great setup on it, and I'm taking it. I'm bearish. All right, moving over to dollar CAD. I honestly don't really know what this is going to do. It looks more bearish than anything. Yeah, I mean, we have broken this low, and we've retested into this supply area, but we didn't get this fair value gap, neither did we get anything to this upside. So there is a possibility, all right, let's try the 1 hour, all right, that we can push up to that area and then potentially fall. But again, the dollar is bullish, so just being very careful with this particular pair because of the whole situation going on with tariffs and what have you, right? So I'm not really sure about dollar CAD, so I won't really be doing anything with it this week. But if the dollar rises, the dollar CAD should rise. All right, moving over to dollar Swiss franc, and I'm bullish on it. All right, looking at it on the lower time frame, had a nice break of structure here, huge fair value gap that we didn't quite get deep enough into. So I believe we're going to get that drop first, again, as the dollar pulls back, and then once we get to this demand area, we'll reject it and we'll start to rise. So again, you guys can probably even do something like that. That's only 19 pips, guys, for 151 pip take profit up to this level of supply. This looks really good for a trading opportunity, and again, it lines up with the dollar pretty perfect, right? We see the whole down move over here, and then we got our consolidation, double bottom, broke the neckline, made a high, going to pull back to balance everything out and get in from a discounted price, and then it'll take off to this level of supply. All right, guys, so bullish on the dollar CHF. Dollar JPY, I'm also bullish initially. The JPY index is actually falling, so I'm looking to catch or buy the dollar JPY up to this level of supply, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to sell it with 36 pip stop loss and a 329 pip take profit to this level of demand. All right, guys, so GJ, all right, one of those beloved favorites, all right, has opportunity both ways. Right out the gate, you can buy it, all right, and then once it hits up to that level, you can turn around and sell it. All right, but you know, the main play would be the sell, but this is, you know, just the pullback to everything that's going on in regards to this upward movement that you see here. Right, so don't get too lost in the sauce, right? Just know that what you really want to do is be looking for that selling opportunity when when price action for GJ gets up in this area. All right, but bullish initially and then bearish on GJ. Pound odd, this is a super duper play. All right, as you guys can see here, right, got our position all the way going down for 716 pips to the downside. We have a very good setup on pound odd, where we broke a low, we pulled back to that supply area, kind of giving, you know, a little bit of extra little something here, but we're eventually going to drop, guys. This is going to be a huge play, one I'm really counting on to play out this week. Now, before it gets here, obviously we're going to make a few stops in these areas, but still we'll be up, you know, probably 200 pips or better, right? So pound odd, I am bearish. All right, moving over to pound CHF, same exact situation. I expect us to push up to this level of supply that broke this low, right? And then from there, I expect us to drop. So again, 50 pips roughly, or 388 pips to the next level of demand. Very, very clean and nice setup on pound CAD. Don't miss this one, guys. All right, bearish on that. Pound CHF is just like GJ. I expect a rise up to this level of supply, sweeping this liquidity that sits right below it, right? So prices, these areas are acting as a magnet to price. So we will get the push up initially, and then from there, we're going to get the major drop down to that low, with getting away with a 25 pip stop loss for 192 pip take profit. All right, guys, so I'm bullish initially and then bearish on the pound CHF. All right, pound JPY. I don't know, I felt like I said pound JPY already, but maybe I did. Either way, bullish on that again initially, and then turning around and falling. Maybe it was the UJ I was on and I called it the pound JPY. Either way, I'm bullish on GJ, and then once it gets to the supply area, I'm going to look to sell it for a 1 to 8 risk to reward, 413 pips on the table. All right, pound New Zealand has a very nice setup on it right now. Right, we got the nice break, we got the nice retest, and we're slowly but surely, you know, trying to make our way down. The only issue is there's a supply area with, you know, some imbalance up here that we have not mitigated. Not saying that it will, but there's a possibility there. All right, and you know, regardless, you can take this with a very tight stop and not risk, you know, price getting all the way back here. But just know that you might want to, you know, just watch out for that, right? If you don't want to sell it now, with the tight stop, then just wait for it to get to this supply area and then look for your sell from there, right? And it should should work out pretty good. Just want to bring this to the higher time frame so you guys can see what time it is with pound New Zealand. All right, clean break of that high, made that new high, which is really up here, but then we came down and we broke structure internally, right, to make that change of character from uptrend to now potentially downtrend. Here's the lower low, and this is forming to be the lower high, to where we'll go and make that lower low all the way down, filling any imbalance, which is mainly all the way down here, right? So we can get way more than what we're aiming for. Right here is just 286 pips, but if you let this ride out for probably the rest of the month, you'll be surprised. All right, but pound New Zealand has a very great setup, very great opportunity. All right, crude oil is pushing up against a nice level of resistance here, so I'm expecting it to get a little deeper, and then from there I'll be selling it. So bearish on oil. All right, on silver, all right, we broke the highs, made a new high, started our pullback, so we could keep falling, right, if the dollar rises. But for right now, it looks like it could go both ways. Looks like it could rise a little bit, but also looks like it can continue falling and then rise from this demand level. So just got to watch silver. It's basically both ways at the moment. All right, over to gold. All right, my team caught this nice drop all the way here, hit our take profit, but now gold is giving us that bearish structure, right? We did the new numbers reaching all-time highs, and now we had a change of character, and we're pulling back nicely, all right, from this lower time frame right into this level of supply and potentially here. So I want to get it as high as possible, and you can see a 1-to-17 risk to reward is insane, but this is what I expect gold to do: push up to this level, reject it, and then come on down to demand, guys. Very, very perfect setup on gold for $117 move to the downside. That's 1,170 pips on gold. All right, insane. All right, don't miss out. Right, natural gas. So again, it's giving bearish vibes. If we look at it from the 4-hour time frame, we can see that it just kept breaking structure to the downside. So it can go up to fill the supply, possibly this area, before falling. All right, but I think it's gonna give us probably this move up first, right, because the dollar is going to fall, and then as the dollar rises, it'll give us this move down. So you could probably catch it going up if you want, right, but I would like to catch it falling from this area down to support. So I am overall bearish on gas. All right, and here's the big dogs. SPY, I'm bearish on SPY. I just needed to push up into the supply area, and then I can get away with a pretty tight stop if I wanted to, but 233 pips to the downside, that low, and this is going to play out nicely because structure is holding very clean. All right, bearish on SPY. Over to NAS. Again, same situation, right? I'm looking for NAS to complete its pullback all the way into the supply area, sweeping this liquidity, and then falling to the next demand level for over 1,000 points. This is 1,300, almost 1,400 points on NAS, guys. This is the type of money that changes your life, and the setup is here. I'm trying to give you guys the play, but it's up to you to make it do what it do. All right, over to US 30, last but not least, and the same exact thing. I expect it to push up to the supply area, respect it, all right, and then drop down to that swing low for 1,800 points. Y'all will hear about it all in the news, but I'm giving it to you first. All right, so make sure you take advantage. But that's gonna be it, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Put your team on, put your fam on, let them know you found somebody to break this down to you. And if you want to know more, just come on over to forexwithbain.com, click on the link to hop in the Discord, and I promise I'll make it worth your while. All right, but in the meantime, in between time, y'all know what it is. It's your boy. Peace.
Wanna get money? Wanna get paid? That's Forex. Like a sensei, then you know you gotta come and swing my way. And if you wanna fast forward, hit replay.